the last time you failed. It tests your critical thinking, it tests analysis, it tests communication, it tests persistence, it tests your ability to think on your feet and answer. So those are like 3 or 4 questions that you could really tell about a person.
Yeah. I would love to hear some of the examples of the best and the worst answers to those questions that you used to ask each candidate. Do you remember like, wow, this is such a great answer, or this is the worst one yet?
Are you really for it?
Yeah, sure.
I feel like nobody wants to join my party now. Now I have no talent pipeline of whoever joins the party.
Yeah.
How many ping pong balls can you fit at 747? For these kind of brain teaser question, and I think the kind of quality that you look for in an organization, especially at the very young age, is the ability to ask the right question. Not to be able to give answers. Of course, you have to be able to analyze. You have to be able to communicate. You got to be able to listen to feedback and all those things. Or you can Google them up, or you can read somewhere else. But I think it boils down to one sentence of what's the kind of characteristic that I look for people who join my team is the ability to ask the right question. Because you'll be able to come up with the answers later on. And especially with the kind of environment, with the kind of ecology, you could come up with answers rather quickly through the technology or through asking someone else. But you got to be able to ask the right question. But let me be clear, at the very young age, when you start off your career, ask all the questions. Don't think whether it's right or wrong, but if you ask the questions, if you ask the right question, it will be better. But if you by all means ask all the questions. But for me to ask that kind of question, how many ping pong ball can fit in a 747, you could. Sorry about this. Did I hurt some of your expensive equipment? Then I see 2 kinds of candidate pools. One that asks the question back. In order for me to answer your question, sir, I have to know the diameter of a ping pong ball, and I have to know the diameter of the 747. I don't remember how you could come up with the volume of each, but can you give me the answers to that? But if I don't have the answer to that, I'll be able to Google it up right away. So these are the kind of people who ask the right question, and they don't have the answer, but they have hypothesis, or they have options in order to come up with the right answer. And that's the kind of people you need in the team in this kind of volatile working environment, whether it's in politics or in the private sector, in this kind of world when, suddenly you get COVID, suddenly you get geopolitical hotspots all around the world. It's not just like whoever absorbs from the textbook of how to come up with a stock valuation and you apply it right away. You got to be able to come up with a new way of doing things. So you got to be able to ask the right question in order to come up with that. And the other kind of candidate pool that just sit still and could do nothing about it because they didn't know how to critically think and ask the right question, or don't have the bravery to ask back. And that's really something in the middle. If you're in the middle management or if a leader of an organization, that's really something that you would just it's music to your ears when someone asks you questions, rather than waiting for the deadline of your presentation, you have nothing on paper.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that separates out people who you would like to be in a team or not. Something that I would really, really appreciate.
Yeah. I really like that, the bravery to ask questions, or at least to ask back, because a lot of people might feel like you have to come up with the right answers, and if you don't know, that's stupid and then you're done. But no, you can ask back and you can find answers.
But to be fair,